It's where you live, it's where you grow, it's where your dreams unfold. It's in every chapter of every story, it's more than just a home.
Hey folks, welcome back to It's More Than Just a Home. I'm your host, Joy Robertson, and behind me is the Ozarks Lodge. Today, Rick Ramsey is excited to give us all a glimpse into the process of installing heating and cooling in this masterpiece of a home, and then take you behind the scenes of how we've incorporated smart home wiring into our builds. We'll also check in with our team working on the Habitat for Humanity home, and later dive into the new and exciting technology of repairing cement from the ground up. We've got a lot on our plate today, so let's dive right in. The technology in heating and cooling has advanced tremendously over the last 15 years. Energy efficiency is the key to new heating and cooling systems. So let's meet with Jeremy Grisham at SS&B to see what he did in this home.
So Jeremy, today is reveal day. That's where the homeowners will actually see the furnishings installed in their home, and it's just turned out fabulous. I know they're excited to get moved in, but it would be a very uncomfortable day if the heat didn't work.
Yeah, it's pretty cold outside.
That's
today.
right. So we put a state-of-the-art system in by Train, and if you would, give us a little bit of the overview of the system we did install.
So we've got a dual fuel variable speed heat pump installed in this house. The heat pump will keep up with the full demand of the house down to about 40 degrees. Then we have the gas backup for those more extreme days that the heat pump can't keep up with the demand.
Okay, and those systems are very, very efficient. There's some other systems we'll refer to down the road, but today I'd like to take a look at the system we installed here. So let's go upstairs and take a peek.
Sounds good.
Okay. Yeah, really nice attic. As you'll notice, we spray foam the roof decking, and that keeps this area acclimated.
Right.
It makes a big difference to an acclimated spaces like this, where used to you'd have that hot and cold attic all the time.
Right. Yeah, it takes out the thermal heat gain and loss through the ductwork, and it keeps, as you say, keeps the equipment in the conditioned space, so we don't have it subject to those extremes on humidity and temperature and things like that.
So when you're doing, let's say I have a new plan, and I'll give you the direction the house faces, all the window and door schedule is on the plan. I'll email it to you. And in most cases, we'll have plans designed. They're not always drawn with mechanical attributes. So we will actually rely on you heavily to design the heating and air system for that home based upon our budget, correct?
Right. Yeah, so we take those plans and we basically do what an engineer would do on a commercial building, and we take the insulation values, as you said, the direction that it faces, and the performance of the windows, and run a manual J calculation on it to size it. And then once we have the system sized, we will do that same process room by room to break up the airflow so you don't end up with those hot and cold spots between rooms. This system actually controls the upstairs of this house and the master. And there's a set of dampers. You can see one of them up there. And you can set them to individual temperatures. It could be 75 up here and 70 in the master. And so it's kind of like two systems in one. This is a Train XC95M. It's a modulating variable speed furnace. The modulating part of it means that it doesn't come on just full blast every time it comes on. It'll start off at 40% capacity and go up in 1% increments up to from 40% to 100%. So, on a 40-degree day like we have today, you don't need to run the furnace full blast like you would if it was zero outside.
Right.
The variable speed part of the fan motor pretty much ensures the right amount of air always being pushed out of the system. It's a high efficiency model motor, so it draws less electricity.
And there's lots of bells and whistles you can add to these systems. You can do dehumidification, humidification. We can run with our energy recovering ventilation systems, ERVs. That's going to help exchange that stale air with fresh air, being the home so tight. Tell us a little bit about some of those things you're seeing people want.
Well, the ERV is something that is a must for a foam insulated house or something that's really tight construction like this one. You can end up with humidity problems. It would be if you don't exchange that air, pull the stale air out, as you said, and bring fresh air back in.
Right.
Kind of like if you put water in a cooler and close the lid, you end up with a lot of those condensation issues. Indoor air quality is a big factor in that also. You all the carpets and the new furniture and stuff like that make off gas, and if you don't get fresh air into the home and the stale air out, then that affects your indoor air quality. Yeah, and then the humidifiers, those are good for the woodwork like we have in this home. If you don't keep the humidity controlled, then you can have swelling and shrinking of the woods and things like that. The comfort level is affected by the humidity level also. In the wintertime, you need more humidity to feel warm, and then in the summertime, you want to remove that humidity because that's also holds heat, and your body feels that heat, and it makes you feel more comfortable with lower humidity there.
There is not a moment in the day when the heating and cooling of a home doesn't affect the homeowner in some way. And I'm sure the people who live in this home appreciate the work that went into making it as energy efficient as possible. Let's take a quick break, and when we return, Rick will show us how he's incorporating smart home systems into new builds. Stick around, we'll be right back.
It's in every chapter of every story. It's more than just a home.
But what we're going to do is take this wire and feed it through the top plate, which will
Every
eventually go into the
chapter of every story. It's more than just a home.
And welcome back. As I promised you before the break, Rick is ready to give you a glimpse into how the Ramsey Building Company has kept up with the 21st century by incorporating smart home systems and wiring into all of his new builds. Our partners at 3D Smart Homes have a lot to teach us today, and Rick may join them and get to work with an installation. So let's go catch up with him now.
So Jason, we're actually here at one of my projects where we're actually pulling wire for smart homes. So what is it that is so important to get this wiring in before drywall?
Well, when you've got a house of this size and trying to make it smart, you've got a lot of wires that go into it.
It's different than just hanging a TV and hoping you've got some kind of connection.
Oh, there's a lot of planning involved from the very beginning. We figure out the different locations where we want speakers, where we want televisions, where we need wireless routers and stuff like that for the internet. And then these guys come out and make sure it all happens.
A lot of TVs, I know, just unless you put a sound bar, they virtually have no sound. So you're able to enhance that with surround sound speakers, correct?
Absolutely. We add speakers to not only the other rooms of the house, but to every TV location to make it sound great.
So with these boxes, let's actually look and see. These guys are pulling some wire here. Let's see how they do it.
Yeah, they're started right now. So what they're doing is they've got all their wires labeled, and we pull them from the room back to the central location.
Okay.
And when we do that, they know exactly at the other end where that wire came from, what room it's in, and what device it's connected to.
So central location, meaning it's in the house, not everything poking outside of the home.
Exactly.
Right.
Just like we do with air conditioners. You could put one in every window in this place, or you could have one central unit.
Right.
So what they're doing here is they're going to drill their pathways, and we've got to be careful as smart home providers, we've got to be careful to avoid plumbing and electrical and any of the other subcontractors. So we're usually a little further along when we get started.
Exactly. We're 3 days from insulating, so you're here at the very last.
Perfect timing for us.
Yeah, and you don't want any nicks or cuts in your wire.
No, we test everything as soon as we're done, but construction happens, and so we have seen some bad wires. We do try and run doubles and spares and at extra locations that we won't be able to get to after the house is finished.
Gotcha.
They know how to make this work.
The terminology smart home gets thrown around quite a bit in construction. Explain to us just a little bit what that actually means.
So a smart home is a home that has some sort of brain in it, a processor that is watching what the home is doing.
Similar to a computer processor.
Exactly like that. In fact, the system we use is called Savant, and it runs on an Apple computer.
Okay, all right. So you can run all types of things. You can run lighting, audio, video. Can you turn on your coffee maker?
If it has a remote or an app, odds are pretty good that I can control it in a smart home. The nice thing about a smart home is you have one device in charge of everything. So you have your garage doors, your door locks, your lights, your thermostat, pool, spa, gate, garage, whatever you want is handled by a smart home.
So, looks like you might need some help. Is there anything I can do for you?
I can get you up in the attic to pull these wires.
Let's do it. So what we're doing, we're actually pulling the wire from the box we previously mentioned, making sure not to put it in any awkward kinks, anything that could pinch the wire. and you want to feed it through the framing members itself. And then we've got this hole drilled through the top plate of the wall, and we'll actually fish this through. This will become our volume control for the speakers that this wire will feed. And we usually line those up pretty close to existing boxes such as light switches. To run the processor, you can use your phone, you can use remotes. What types of things are out there?
Absolutely. You can use any iPhone, any Android phone, anything that's got a smartphone capability to it, as well as there are handheld remotes that come with the system if you just want to sit on your couch and channel surf as usual.
Some people like the old-fashioned remotes.
We do about 50-50.
Okay.
It's kind of a blend. The way I look at it is you use your phone when you're controlling a general, like I want to turn the lights off in the entire house, or when you're not home. If you want to be on vacation and change the thermostat, you should be able to do that. The remote's for when you're home and watching television. The systems themselves, the processors are usually good for about 5 years.
Okay.
And with the system that we use, they're upgradable via software. So we can usually get 7 to 8 years on hardware before we have to replace any of that.
Okay.
And that doesn't mean we have to replace the stuff that's already in the walls and around the house. That grows with the system.
Yes, you're using capable wiring that will extend to the next generation of technology.
Yes, we use universal wiring so that I can be brand agnostic. We can change from this to that. If a customer has Samsung and they love it and we wanted to put in a Sony television, we need to be able to work with both.
If we had to tell our viewers anything, what would you recommend? Why is it important to visit with you guys in the pre-planning stages of construction?
When you're building a house like this, you think about all the pieces that are going to go into it, all the TVs and maybe the Blu-ray players, and all those different devices have to talk together. The earlier we can get together with the homeowner, with the builder, and figure out what pieces are going to go in to enhance their lifestyle, the earlier we can plan. We can get our wires labeled, make sure everything's going to work. We test everything before we install it, and this is the time to start.
It is, and we know things change. I see it in 5-year, I know you see it in year segments, but every 5 years things really change as far as how things communicate with each other. We've noticed a big era with Bluetooth, for instance.
Fantastic. We do change often. In fact, our cycle runs about 6 months to 9 months before products change. So we've got to be on the cutting edge when it comes to wiring. And so we've got to be a part of that. Smart homes are here to stay.
Well, and we have kids to show us how to do it.
That's true. Grandkids are great tech support.
Well, I look forward to seeing a finished product. We'll take a look at that and we'll understand just exactly what the final touches are for smart homes.
I can't wait to see a finished one.
All right.
Whew, I tell you, these smart homes may be getting smarter than us. I'm sure Rick's customers will love being able to control every aspect of their home and systems so easily. We're going to take a quick break now, and when we come back, Rick will have a very important meeting with Erica and our Habitat for Humanity family. So we'll see you back here in just a minute.
It's in every chapter of every story. It's more than just a home. It's in every chapter of every story. It's more than just a home.
Okay, so today's an exciting day. We're here with Mills Foundations and Conco Companies to pour the footers, which will be the base of the foundation for the Wilmoth home. Okay, so the bottom floor is going to be about 1,800 square feet. Today we're pouring about 20 yards of concrete for the footers, which is what goes underneath the foundation wall, as well as the piers that will support the girders, which supports the house. The typical houses for Habitat for Humanity are 2 bedrooms around 800 square feet. We work our way up from there. 3 bedroom, 4 bedrooms. We've done 5s and 6s, but this is the largest house we've ever done. It's a 7-bedroom home. It's going to be about 3,200 square feet. So far we're doing real good. We had a delayed start, but once we got started, we're doing real good. We got excavated last Friday, and the foundation crew's here today pouring the footers. So we should have a foundation in within the next week or so. After the foundation, we'll have to seal the foundation from water, and then we'll put in a drainage system inside the foundation in case water were to ever get in. We'll be able to pump it out, and then we will start framing. What you see with these square forms, that is the outline of the house. The foundation walls will sit on those footers. And then you see the circles in the middle, those are where the piers are going to be that support the main beams that support the floor of the home. Then you have these circles outside of the footprint of the house, which are going to be the footers for the posts, which are going to support the beams for the roof of the front porch. I'm hoping to be finished with this house by mid-September or early October.
I hope that you are as excited as I am to witness such an awesome and meaningful project as this one. They really are a beautiful family, and their story is so heartwarming. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we will head out to a client's home to speak with the team from Raising Solutions and watch them work their magic to raise a concrete driveway years after it's been constructed. So stick around. We'll be right back.
It's in every chapter of every story. It's more than just a home.
So I noticed you got lots of color. You've got everything from knockout roses.
It's in every chapter of every story. It's more than just a home.
Well, we've all seen it. Concrete that cracks, settles, and sometimes even separates. It could be a driveway, it could be sidewalk, front and back porch, basement floor, and in some cases our precious foundations on our homes. It can be unsightly, it can be even disturbing for a lot of homeowners dealing with this. Well, today we're going to show you how this can be dealt with and a solution. Today we're going to meet Brian Baker with Raising Solutions, and we're going to show you how he's able to take concrete and help repair, assist, and in some cases totally heal the situation. Follow me. Hey Brian.
Morning, Rick.
How are you?
I'm good. You?
Good, good. What we got going on here?
Well, today we're leveling up this driveway, and we have a void underneath here that we're going to be filling as well.
What we do, it's really separated.
It has.
So,
And it's just become a trip hazard for the customer getting in and out with his car.
yeah. And it looks like you've already drilled. We got a sidewalk issue as well.
We have a sidewalk issue over there with a settlement, a trip hazard,
That's
and a
definitely
void.
a trip hazard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially coming out when it's not much daylight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You want to pitch in?
Sure.
All right.
Get me started.
Yep. We're going to do a hole about right
All
here
right.
and then one in between there.
Okay.
And one about right there, Rick.
I'll do it. I normally charge for this kind of stuff, but today it's free.
Today's free.
Yeah. Sound like you're using foam.
We're going to use a 4-pound polyurethane foam.
Okay, closed cell foam.
Closed cell foam, and we're going to, it goes in as a liquid, and as it spreads, it fills the gap underneath there. Once it has no other place to go,
Okay.
we're going to get hydraulic pressure and it'll lift that concrete level back up.
So is this a similar product, what we use for insulation in our homes?
It is. It's
Okay.
exactly the same.
Okay.
It just reacts slower
Okay.
than the insulation foam. So the material, when it goes in about 20 seconds, it's done going to grow. It's growing as far as it's going to grow.
Okay.
30 minutes after we're done, from the last pour, that's as hard as that material is ever going to get. So you can use it immediately. There's no downtime, no disruption to your yard, your landscaping, anything.
Well, for years people deal with this, or if they don't want to deal with it, it's very expensive. They have to cut it and replace it.
Correct.
So this is much more effective. In fact, the homeowners, they're not even here. They're going to come back today and it's all done.
Correct. Right.
You do quite a bit of foundation work too, correct?
We do foundation stabilization.
Okay.
We do soil stabilization. If you got an area that's, doesn't meet the specs on the soil, we can inject down in to strengthen it up.
Really?
Yep.
A lot of times we try to use clean rock underneath our on our new builds, but occasionally the soil underneath the rock just isn't stable
Correct.
enough.
That's right.
So,
Yeah, you get a plastic soil or
Right.
something like that. Just It's better not to dig it all out. You can
Yep.
do the foam to strengthen it up.
Okay. Is it a two-part mix?
It is a 2-part mix, 1-to-1.
Okay.
Yeah. The bead, the foam part of it, is all recycled foam.
Recycled foam.
Yep, it's all green.
Huh. Come here, I want to show you something real quick. This is by far the largest void we have on this project. It's so big I can actually stick my fist in underneath it, which would allow animals even to enter underneath this concrete. So it's going to be really unique to see how this sidewalk is solidified with this foam injection. Looks like our sidewalk is starting to lift over here. Brian has already injected the driveway, and so it's on its way up, and now the sidewalk's starting to catch with the driveway. Then we'll move over and figure out how to fix this void. Is it moving up?
Yes, sir.
So I think we're getting ready to have a volcanic explosion with our foam, which is what we're after.
You can see some rocks moving now.
Yes, I do.
Right there.
So you'll shut down the foam and let it kind of expand and see what
Yep.
happens here.
Yeah, the only enemy we have, the foam has, is UV light from the sun.
Breaks it down.
Breaks it down over time. Yep.
So you can see the foam found the least path of resistance, and that's the joint between the sidewalk and the driveway. It's a very hard product, and it's super lightweight, but very dense at the same time. And this is what's going to actually fill the void underneath the concrete and give us the lift that we're after.
Thank you so much for coming along with us today. We've covered a lot of ground, and as you can tell, Rick is so thankful to be working with all of these dedicated and talented vendors. I'll see you all again next week when we head back to the Ozarks Lodge to install some hardware in the home, take a look at the flooring, and wrap up this home before we take a sneak peek at our next home project. Until then, I want to thank you for taking this journey with us. Now, if you want to see these segments again and learn more about the Ozarks Lodge, go to RamseyBuilding.com. And until then, let's get building.